Welcome back to Friday 5, episode 008. I am once again your amazing host, Cameron from Community Biz. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for your interest in just talking out on my favorite topic, which is digital marketing for nonprofits. For those that are new to the show, this is basically where we source marketing challenges from nonprofit leaders from around the world in our Digital Marketing for Nonprofits Facebook group. And I take 5 minutes every week and I try and answer as many of them as I can from my perspective, how I would approach that challenge. So without further ado, let's hit the timer. Before I get going, if you ever want to just escalate your challenge to the top of the queue, which some people have been asking about, just tweet at Community Boost and we'll make sure we get it answered in our next wave of shows. All right, so let's hit that timer. Let's talk a little nonprofit marketing, and boom. All right, 5 minutes, here we go. First challenge is from Tara, who from WGCU Public Media, and biggest marketing challenge here is funding and true digital engagement. And I took a second, checked out your site and what you're about, and I have to say we've worked with some public radio stations, and it's really cool how the internet can support your mission now, and there's so much opportunity. And really it just comes down to providing value first and then making your ask. And as an organization, approaching your engagement from a give first, kind of ask second attitude. We want to give kind of 51 and get 49% in this relationship. And the good news is tools like the $10,000 per month Google Ad Grant, we've seen tremendous results for public radio stations, and campaigns like email and even Facebook and Instagram ads. They can certainly work when it's fundraising time. But really, you need to plan out that whole experience. What's the 80 to 90% of value, and then what's the 10 to 20% of ask when you need it, when you're fundraising, when you're driving engagement. And then it's just continuing to test different tactics, tagging people, contests, whatever it is. It's about consistency, consistent content on the social front. Okay, next challenge is from Emma from the Equal Justice America. Biggest challenge here is alumni giving and growing following. And as I checked out your org, I definitely understand where you're coming from, and it's always that kind of chicken and egg. When and how do we leverage our alumni that we've helped? And as people that want to give back, we can give our time, our talent, or our treasure, right? And for potentially young people or alumni, and when we make that ask, often I like to first ask for them to volunteer or to be a peer-to-peer fundraiser even prior to opening wallets. And that can be a great middle ground if your need is funding from your alumni. And you can do peer-to-peer fundraising on either a platform like Classy or even on Facebook itself these days. And that's just such a great way for alumni to feel invested, to stay connected to the organization, to fundraise on behalf, and it kind of hits your other part of the challenge here, which is growing following. So if I'm alumni and I then ask my network of 500 or 1,000 people to support, and I share my story about how your organization helped my cause, it can resonate, and it's going to grow your network, and then it's up to you to further steward those people, because those people gave to Cameron, not necessarily your organization, and now you have to steward them into understanding your bigger mission and what you're about. Okay, next is from Mike from A Kid Again. Biggest challenge is moving from old schools of thoughts. And I think I understand what you're putting down here. We've encountered this a lot, working with a few hundred organizations over the years. And I'm assuming you're referencing the marketing and tech front, and how do we, be more modern. And recently, this type of appeal has worked for me both on the boards I sit on and even in talking with clients, and it's 2019. And we have to market like it is. We have to market where people's attention is actually at. And marketing is so important. Well, you know, in my opinion, if we don't learn how to, as an organization, adopt technology faster, we're actually really putting ourselves at long-term risk of sustainability and not being relevant and not being where people's attention is at, which is on our mobile devices, it's online. And as a board member, you know, that is a responsibility of the organization, of its long-term viability. So that appeal has worked, and the good news is we can measure everything online, and we can understand how it's performing, and we can, you know, decide, move fast, test faster, use smaller budgets, but hopefully have more scalable results when they're working. And we have to let urgency conquer fear, period. Or else we're just going to move too slow and we're going to become a dinosaur. Okay, and last question here is from Marina from the J. Nolan Community Services. Biggest challenge is increasing our audience and awareness for our organization. So really, I mean, not to overcomplicate it, is to increase our audience, we have to talk to the world, and we have to produce written, video, and image content and pieces of content. We got to put that online where people's attention is at, and we got to be consistent. And if that feels overwhelming, you have to just document your journey. Even when you're early stage, document the journey. People love that and they want to follow that. You know, imagine seeing videos of Scott Harrison when they're struggling to get charity water off the ground. Like, that would have been so cool to look back on today. And also thinking about the traffic channels that can have the most leverage early and be the most scalable. So things like the $10,000 per month Google ad grant can be a bit difficult to get it going, but once you do, it can be really consistent and something you can lean on, and driving people to learn about your services. You just got to get it running, and we got to be a practitioner, and that's just, you know, up to your organization to make it happen. So I hope that was helpful. Post in the group. Let's keep the conversation going. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Follow us on social media, subscribe, and if you're liking this type of content, if you like the other Friday Fives we've done that are in the archive, let other nonprofit professionals know. That's all we ask. See you next time.